Demolition is underway at Harrisburg Mall. The former Macy store is beginning to come down. Most of the stores were vacated by January 31st. Bass Pro Shops, Second and Charles, and a few others do still remain. St. John Properties said last year they were planning to put a mixed-use business community on that property.
In today's adventure, we're exploring the Harrisburg Mall, just days before it's scheduled to close its doors for good. The Harrisburg Mall opened in 1969. Starting in the late 70s, the mall began what seemed like a never-ending revolving door of anchor stores. Just one example of this is the fate of the original Gimbels department store location. Gimbels opened with the mall in 1969, then became Hess's in 78, which became Hecht's in 94, and then finally Macy's in 2006, before ultimately closing for good in early 2020. All three anchor store locations at the mall saw varying degrees of turnover like this over the years. In addition to the revolving door of anchor stores, the mall also went through a $77 million revitalization in 2004, which included the addition of the Great Escape movie theater. In its final years, mall ownership changes ultimately led to a redevelopment plan that included demolishing the current building in exchange for a total reimagining of the location as a mixed-use space. This plan was formally announced in December of 23, with the mall being slated to close at the end of January 24. As we saw in the intro, demolition of this space has already begun, marking an end to the longtime Harrisburg area staple. Let's check out how the mall was in its final days before closing. Alright, so like I probably mentioned in the intro, I didn't know if the mall was still open. It's supposed to be closing in a little over a week. But I went on Google Maps this morning. I think this is the entrance to the old Macy's. I went onto Google Maps this morning to find out what time the mall opens typically, and it says it was already permanently closed. I couldn't find any news articles on it, anything actually saying it had closed, so I drove up here anyway just to take a chance, and thankfully, obviously it is still open. So let's try to document this a little bit, see what we can find. There are a surprisingly large number of people inside here for what I believe to be only a couple of stores. And it is, so far at least, I mean, it's depressing, but it's clean and it's decently well lit. It's not, well, never mind. I mean, it's completely dead. I was gonna say, it doesn't really give off the vibe of being about to close, but then I turned the corner and saw this, and yeah, it's, never mind, it's dead. Man, there's something super nostalgic to me about these elevators in malls. You know a mall is dead when the Bath & Body Works has shut down. If there's one thing that I've learned about dying malls in the last couple of years, it's that Bath & Body Works holds on until the bitter end. Even at the Harrisburg Mall, Bath & Body Works was still open right up till the end. But apparently here, they're out. place is super cool. It's a shame that it's closing, but it's like these pillars and stuff. It kind of reminds me of the stuff we saw at the St. Lawrence Center up in New York, except not completely falling apart. And all the light bulbs are still on for the most part. Like, it doesn't look like a mall that's been completely neglected like a lot of the other ones we've seen. It's just completely dead. So the only store staying open after the mall's closure here in a couple days is actually Bass Pro Shops, but they have the entrance closed, like we've seen in other situations. They still have all of this sort of marketing out front here, but the entrance is closed off, and my understanding is that's been like that for a while now, so that's not something just recent. But okay, so far on the lower level here, it's just been this Second and Charles place, which I don't even really know what that is. Maybe we can take a look here in a second. The Lens Crafters, it's open. Everything else is either closed up or empty. Oh, and this DXL men's clothing shop. Go upstairs and see if there's any more life up there. Oh, nice. I think the sign said this was the Family Fun Center. Yeah. Still have the remnants of some games in there. This location will be closing mid-January. We hope to open a new location 2024. So they must have just closed. This is Foot Locker Kids. We will be closing at 7 every day, and our last day will be January 21st. That's today. Alright, I don't know what's going on with that Foot Locker Kids. It says today is supposed to be the last day. So there are a couple more stores that that are still sort of trying to finish closing up shop, that actually lasted longer than Bath and Body Works. But the thing that I found, oh, here's that PlayPlace area where we started. So normally when I visit a dead mall or try to do like a dead mall kind of thing, it's either totally abandoned and neglected, and everyone has just stopped caring and it's only existing for whatever reason. So like the Columbia Colonnade, or Chambersburg, where it's only technically still open. Other situation is where people are just trying to pretend like the mall is not dying. Stores are still trying to operate. People are still trying to sort of hold some semblance of security in place, whatever. As I walk literally right by the mall security office. So, hold on. Why was there a wall for movie posters? Also, there's a janitor down here cleaning the food court. There's not a single restaurant open in the food court. All right, I'm having some crazy ADD here. So, back to my thought. What makes this situation a little more unique is that management gave businesses like a month and a half's worth of notice. And from what I read on various articles, people sort of expected that announcement to be coming long before that. And so it's like everyone's been given a chance to say goodbye to the mall and shut down officially and properly, as opposed to just pretending like everything is fine. And then, bam, one day they just close up shop. And it's a really weird, unique, it is a really weird and unique vibe that I'm getting as a result. But if you look at this mall is closing in 10 days or something like that. The ceilings are in good shape. Everything is in good shape. It's not like the stuff we've seen in almost every other mall where it's been, the ceiling just has water stains and all that sort of stuff. So that goes back to my whole point of like, I don't know. I don't know, just a totally different vibe here. So downstairs there were only a couple stores open. There's probably half a dozen stores open in total that I've seen, and they all are in some stage of clearance, sort of closing out, whatever. So everyone's trying to liquidate. Everyone's just basically trying to get out now that they've been given notice. And people are coming and shopping with that impression, I guess, or with that perspective. And so, like, look at this. There's a line. There's a line to get into Foot Locker. I don't know why. There looked like there were maybe half a dozen people in the store. I don't understand the line piece, but maybe there's some security component I'm not familiar with. But yeah, super strange vibe. And what I read this morning from a more recent news article is that I think they're actually planning on doing demo to this part of the mall starting in March, so in a little over a month. I mean, we know how those projects go. Likely it'll be June, but I decided to pull up a chair here because, I don't know, I love this vibe, especially now that everyone is cleared out from everywhere. I mean, it's just so calm and peaceful, which, who says that about a dead mall that's on its way out? But I don't know, there's just something I really enjoy about just hanging out in environments like this. I don't remember this mall being this small, so it's actually not a lot. There's not even really wings. It's just sort of one little strip with the former Macy's at one end and the Bass Pro Shops at the other. So I just noticed there are movie posters over there too. I think they've turned off the heat on this end though. It's very cold compared to that back end where Bass Pro is. Like, this stuff actually reminds me of the Lycoming Mall. And the fountain and really just sort of nice landscaped fountains that they had there. And this makes me feel like McDonald's in the 90s. Alright, so I think we are going to call that about it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this whole walkthrough the Harrisburg Mall, which at the time of filming is supposed to be closing in about 10 days. If you did, you know the drill. Like button, subscribe button, notifications, leave a comment. Any sort of interaction helps grow the channel. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. All right, bye. I noticed one sort of final thought, because I just realized I've noticed this at a lot of different locations. It's maybe super obvious, whatever, but COVID seemed to have really just destroyed malls. This mall, along with several others that we've been to recently, has all of their COVID-19 sort of health guidelines up still, and it's almost like a time capsule. So yeah, I don't know. But tell me, that old Macy's building doesn't look super dystopian. So